Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because, well, we're looking at something absolutely profound. We're exploring the psychology of deep thinkers, the socially selective, and the massive shift that happens when you finally stop feeling the desperate need to explain yourself to the world. Okay, let's dive right into this because it isn't just about being quiet. It's about uncovering a highly sophisticated psychological move to protect your peace from being completely misunderstood. Think about a recent interaction for a second. Have you ever caught yourself mid-sentence just passionately trying to explain your feelings or justify your life choices to someone, only to suddenly realize they aren't actually listening to you, right? You're talking, you're trying to build a bridge, and then you see it. Their eyes just completely glaze over. It is this highly specific, really tense moment of realization where the connection just literally drops. And right after that realization, you've probably felt it, haven't you? That familiar, heavy exhaustion settling right in the center of your chest. For a long time, you've likely felt this intense pressure to just be an open book. You want to be understood, so you explain your decisions, your boundaries, even your silences. But recently, if you found yourself just kind of staying quiet instead of defending your side of the story, you might be carrying this nagging fear. You worry, wait, am I just giving up? Am I becoming completely antisocial? Section 1. Myth versus reality. Redefining your silence. Now, the myth here is that your silence means you're somehow broken or that you're just giving up. But the reality is a whole different ballgame. You see, the old behavior of constantly explaining yourself is incredibly mentally expensive. I mean, it drains you. Selective silence, on the other hand, is definitely not weakness. It's actually a really sophisticated act of self-preservation. It's a conscious choice to limit unnecessary social obligations so you can actually save your precious energy for the connections that truly matter. Section 2. The science of exhaustion. High cognitive sensitivity. To really grasp why explaining yourself takes so much out of you, we have to look at the clinical science, because you're not just imagining this. Your brain is quite literally doing significantly more work than the average person's brain during a standard conversation. Psychologists actually call this high cognitive sensitivity. When you interact with others, your brain isn't just passively listening to the words coming out of their mouths. Nope. It's actively tracking their tone of voice, it's analyzing their facial microexpressions, and it's deeply processing absolutely everything that is being left unsaid. Doing this constantly, it makes everyday, casual conversations incredibly demanding and honestly, mentally expensive. And because of that high sensitivity, your brain processes these interactions in 3 distinct, almost automated steps. First, it detects emotionally flat signals from the other person. Then, step 2, you recognize that there is a distinct lack of authenticity or depth. And finally, step 3, your mind signals that this interaction is simply no longer worth the energy, which prompts you to withdraw to conserve your peace. It's basically a real-time automated defense mechanism for your own mental battery. Section 3. The paradigm shift, recalibrating access. You know, this behavioral shift into silence isn't about becoming cold, and it is certainly not about indifference. You've simply realized that your energy is a finite resource. As you become more self-aware, your tolerance for inauthentic behavior just completely drops. For you, authenticity is absolutely non-negotiable. You've recognized the simple, powerful truth that not everyone needs the exact same level of access to you. If someone cannot meet you at your level of depth, silence isn't a punishment for them. It becomes your safest, most honest response. You're just flat out refusing to compromise your authenticity just to fill the air with words. Section 4. The psychological tools. Emotional detachment. So, the crucial point is, how do you actually execute this without feeling guilty about it? Well, it all comes down to emotional detachment. Now, while the phrase emotional detachment can sometimes sound a little clinical or maybe even harsh, we are framing it here not as a loss of empathy, but as an incredibly powerful protective tool. In practice, it just means observing a situation, like a misunderstanding or a harsh comment, without immediately internalizing it. It's not that you've stopped caring about people, you've merely stopped absorbing every single emotion and opinion around you. You no longer feel this frantic, overwhelming need to fix their misunderstanding through some exhaustive explanation. And that detachment is really anchored by this difficult but totally liberating psychological truth. People only change when they choose to. Let that sink in. Once you truly accept this, everything shifts. You realize that fruitlessly trying to control someone else's perception of you is a massive waste of your energy. Instead, you just adjust your boundaries and your responses, allowing them to think whatever they want while you remain entirely unbothered. Section 5. The resolution. Internal stability. As you stop fighting to be understood by everyone, the noise finally fades away, and you step into true internal stability. The desperate need to be perfectly perceived by the outside world just quiets down. This stability is driven by what psychologists call low social dependency. Let's unpack these traits for a second. Because you rely on internal validation, you're free from seeking constant approval or attention from others. You process your emotions and challenges privately through introspective processing, rather than needing to vent to anyone who will listen. This combination makes you remarkably, deeply resilient to outside misunderstandings. Because of that deep resilience, in this stage of your life, silence completely transforms. It isn't awkward anymore. It isn't empty. It's grounding, and it is so incredibly stable. You just don't feel the pressure to fill every little gap in a conversation with words. Because not needing to speak just to be heard, that is the ultimate sign of deep emotional maturity and comfort with yourself. So if you've been choosing distance and silence lately, please do not let the world make you feel like you're broken. You are simply being highly intentional about who actually deserves your time and attention. Which leaves us with this final, vital question to reflect on today. Are you choosing quality over quantity and peace over presence? Embrace your selective silence. It just might be the most powerful self-care you ever practice.